Violence against women begins with things like inappropriate comments about what she's wearing, whistling at her, making lewd comments or gestures, inappropriate jokes, pornography being passed around the site, sexual harassment, or any kind of harassment. Good morning and welcome to the Management Under Construction podcast. I'm your host, Dee Davis, and today is a special episode of the podcast. I am recording in November of 2025, and as many of you have heard by now, the construction industry has recently suffered a very tragic loss of yet another tradeswoman to violence in the workplace. The most recent loss of 20-year-old welder Amber Czech was sadly not the first in recent memory. In 2017, we also lost Outi Hicks, a 32-year-old single mother. Both women were brutally bludgeoned to death by male coworkers at their work sites. I thank you for being patient with me. This is a rather emotional recording, and it's taken me more than a week to write this and record it. Women are murdered by men they know nearly 90% of the time. When a woman dies at work, it is most often homicide, with the leading contributing factors including stalking, bullying, and sexual harassment. The rate of homicide at work for women is nearly 3 times that of our male counterparts, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. When I talk to men about workplace violence, the answer is always the same. I would never tolerate that on my site. But here's the thing. It doesn't start with violence. It ends with violence. This is a call to action for our brothers and sisters. I'm going to start with the call of action to our brothers in the industry. And I do think of you as my brothers, men that would never hurt me and would have my back if I needed you. I know this is who you are because in the nearly 30 years of working in this industry as a carpenter, then a project engineer, and eventually a project manager, you've always had my back. You stood up for me when other men on the site were trash talking me. What we need to understand and acknowledge is that violence against women begins with things like inappropriate comments about what she's wearing, whistling at her, making lewd comments or gestures, touching, inappropriate jokes, sexually suggestive or nude stickers and calendars in the gang box or on the shop walls, pornography being passed around the site, sexual harassment, or any kind of harassment, threats, and bullying. Because you are probably not a man who would ever physically hurt a woman, these things seem harmless and just the way it's always been, or guys just being guys. But it creates a hostile work environment for the women on your crew and encourages men to think of women as nothing more than sexual objects that are there for their amusement and pleasure instead of a coworker who's there to do a job. Guys, this is not a bar or a dating site. This is work. We're there to do one thing, and that's build things and get paid for our skills, just like you. We're calling on you to be the one that steps up and says no more. No more treating women as less than. No more inappropriate talk or actions among the crew. Don't allow your own people to do it, and don't tolerate it from other trades. When you come across an action or behavior, the way you determine if it's inappropriate is to ask yourself these questions. How would I feel if someone did that or said that to my girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband, sister, mother, daughter, grandmother, aunt? If the answer is that you wouldn't like it being done to them, then it's wrong. Whether you're a labor leader or a crew member, don't let it happen. Speak up, be the change. Allowing this to happen and saying nothing makes you complicit and responsible for the result. When I was a young project engineer on a job, there was apparently some trash talking going on by some of the guys behind my back. One of the apprentices took offense to what was being said about me and apparently told them to knock it off, that I was his aunt and he wasn't going to put up with that kind of talk about his aunt. Well, I wasn't his aunt, of course, but it effectively stopped the inappropriate talk. It made it back to me. Adrian, if you're listening, I've never forgotten how you stood up for me when it counted. Thank you. Call to action for our sisters. Many incidents are not reported to unions, HR, or supervisors out of fear of retaliation by the abuser, the supervisor, or a lack of action against the offender. When something is done, the woman is usually moved to another site or laid off. Nothing's done to the perpetrator of the abuse, which only results in emboldening them and encouraging them to continue the behavior. The U.S. Department of Labor reports that 88% of women working in our industry have experienced sexual harassment at work. That's most of us. Sisters, this isn't going to go away until we stand up for ourselves. We must report these actions, and we must stand in solidarity with our sisters and brothers that support us and demand action against the perpetrators. It is not us that needs to be removed from the situation, which is all too often the very cowardly solution that avoids any real confrontation with the guilty party and instead punishes us and relegates us to lesser roles and lesser work. The harassers must be held accountable for their unacceptable behavior and the safety situation that they are causing. It needs to be addressed like any other safety issue. We must stand together and support one another. There are thousands of us, from tradeswomen to project engineers, project managers, owners, reps, and support staff. I know it's hard to be brave when your job, your livelihood is on the line, but silence gets us killed. We can't have another Outi Hicks or Amber Zek. We just can't. We've got your back. You aren't alone. In NAWIC, the National Association of Women in Construction, we call this being a battle buddy. And this means we are there for you day or night. We want what you want, to go to work, build great things, and get paid. We want to support our families and know that we're safe at work. Please help us stand up against workplace violence by not tolerating harassment in all its forms. To learn more about how to implement harassment training specific to our industry, participate in the Be That One Guy campaign set up by ironworkers after the death of Outi Hicks at www.bethatoneguy.com. The website has resources for upstanders, members, site supervision, leadership, contractors, and trainers. You can sign up on their website for training today. Please, I know it's in you to be that one guy and change from a bystander to an upstander. Thank you so much for joining us today. Be that one guy. We'll see you next time. Watch us on YouTube at YellowstoneProfessionalEd.co. Don't forget to like, share, and follow us, Apple, Spotify, everywhere you listen to your podcasts. You can email us with questions, comments, and suggestions at heydee@managementunderconstruction.com. That's HEYDEE to get me or Brad at managementunderconstruction.com.